Hey guys, it's Mario here. I'm at the Piazza Navona in the center of Rome, Italy, and as you can see behind me, it's a very famous place. A lot of people are around here. Pretty beautiful scenery as well. Good day to be out to film some videos. And in this one, I wanted to address a very common question I'm getting from a lot of guys from all around the world, and that is, how do you avoid getting injured in the gym? And this is a question I get a lot, and it seems to be a massive issue. Although if you look at the statistics, I mean, bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting in general has the lowest rate of injury compared to any other sport. I mean, like sprinting, American football, like general contact sports, like, I mean, football in general, like rugby. I mean, these people are getting injured non-stop. I mean, these guys are getting crushed all the time. Compared to bodybuilding and powerlifting and weightlifting in general, I mean, we're pretty well off, you know, when you just look at the stats. And when you look at that, I mean, the problem with bodybuilding in general and these kind of resistance training kind of sports is that we have that repeated bout effect. You know, we're constantly repeating the same movements, and that is one of the reasons why we could get injured if we do the wrong things. So in this video, I wanted to kind of give you guys my 3 rules of minimizing the chance of getting injured, right? So you can never be 100% sure, but I mean, if you follow these rules, you're gonna be absolutely minimizing any chance of getting injured. So the rule number 1 is perform each lift in the gym with proper technique. And I mean, I know that you guys have heard this a billion fucking times. Some guy just tells you, hey, you need to do proper technique, but really think about it. The only real way you would get injured, like seriously injured, if you perform the lift with the improper technique. And I see this happen all the time, no matter how many videos have been made out there on the fact that you need to be doing the proper technique, guys are still not doing that. I mean, an average Joe in the gym, if you look at it, is almost doing everything wrong. And guys get injured with 10-kilo dumbbells. You know, guys get injured with like 15-pound dumbbells. You know, it's very easy to get injured because if you're doing proper technique and you're repeating that over and over, week in, week out, you will eventually get injured because of that compound effect of damaging that same spot over and over again, and you're putting weird leverages on your body that it's not supposed to be happening, and you get injured, right? So proper technique is really something that you have to handle, and there's no excuse. I mean, guys are like, well, I don't have money to pay a personal trainer, I don't have someone to show me how to lift weights. I mean, dude, come on, like, you have access to YouTube. You're watching this video right now, and that means that you have access to the library of every single exercise out there, how it's performed with the proper technique. I mean, I myself have more than 36 videos out there that are explaining, and that are my full workout videos where you can see me exactly how I'm performing every single lift out there that, I mean, are all the main lifts, right? So you have no excuse not to watch those videos and actually see, well, am I doing the lift that way or am I doing something wrong? Also, like guys like my buddy Scott Herman, he covered pretty much every lift out there. You know, he has a huge list of videos where you can learn how to perform any exercise out there with the proper technique. I mean, there's really no excuse for you not to do this. And just by watching the video, you're actually using your mirror neurons to mimic the movement. When you're in the gym next time, you're gonna have that flow, you're gonna have the ability to perform the movement same as that athlete that you watched. And even myself, I mean, I watch guys who are like elite squatters, deadlifters, powerlifters to do bench pressing. I watch them before I go to the gym, and that's the best way to improve your lifts fast. And the second thing with this, I wanna be really kind of one point here, is that you want to make sure that you film yourself at least once in a while, at least once a month, at least for the main lifts, okay? So you want to film yourself to be able to look at yourself in that third-person view where you can see all the mistakes. I mean, we're not aware, most of us are not aware what's actually happening in that weight room. We're not sure. I mean, you're just positioning your body in different ways, and until I started filming myself, I was like, damn, you know, I'm doing everything right. The first time I filmed myself, I was shocked. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to actually look at my own footage, how bad it was, because I was doing almost everything wrong. And I wasn't even aware of it. I thought that my technique was good. And I was looking at my video and compared to video of guys like who are professional powerlifters who are competing, I was embarrassed, man. I blushed looking at that screen. I was like, shit, you know, I have to work on this. So really invest the time. It's gonna pay off. It's gonna keep you away from injuries, and it's also going to improve your strength, and it's just a win-win. There's no way you're going to lose by investing in learning how to perform the lift properly. The second thing is really taking regular deloads. this is a huge one that I don't see guys do so much. And typically in the gym, you see two extremes. One extreme is a guy who is working super fucking hard, busting his ass off, and he's doing like hardcore Spartan shit, you know, he's really working hardcore. And he's never taking a break, you know, he's really hammering it hard. And these are the guys who usually get injured. But then on the other hand, you have guys who are under training. That's most of the gym, right? So that's like 80, 90% of the gym are guys who are constantly under-trained. So they're not performing, they're not lifting heavy enough weight to actually cause an adaptation that their body has to adapt by increasing size, increasing strength, and making gains, right? But then that's also not good, right? If you look at the two extremes, you want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be the guy who is working smart. You want to be the guy who is performing heavy weights, but with proper technique, and you're also listening to the signals that your body is giving you, and you're taking proper deloads from time to time. Let's say every 5th, every 6th week of training should be a little bit of a lighter week, where you simply go to the gym, have a little bit less volume, focus on technique, and really let your body rest. And you can't go wrong with this. Even if you take a deload, if you don't need the deload, if you're not fatigued, it's still not a bad thing, right? You're not gonna lose any gains or anything like that. You know, you can only progress if you do this. So huge point here. Take regular deloads, listen to your body when it's telling you, when it's giving you the signals, when you need to take some rest, and perform that. Don't be a hero, right? Don't do stupid shit. And the point number 3, which kind of builds up on this, don't be a hero thing, is like, leave your ego out of the door. The only time I ever got injured was actually when I was kind of too full of myself, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna crush this weight, and I went really hard, and I injured my shoulder a little bit because I just piled on a bunch of weight, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I can do this, and I try to force the weight. I try to do some forced reps, and then happened, you know, my shoulder was so injured that I couldn't even brush my teeth, and that happened for like 4 or 5 days. I was in severe pain. I had to go see a doctor. I was living in Japan at that time. Nobody speaks English there, and I got in trouble, right? And it's all because of my ego. I just didn't let my ego out of the door. I just didn't take it step by step. Instead of increments of, let's say, 5 pounds, I just said, oh, fuck this, I'm gonna do like 10, 15 pounds extra, and that's what happens. You know, it's usually a result of us being too ahead of ourselves when we get injured. And I rarely see guys who are following these 3 steps that ever get injured because they're executing everything perfectly, right? They're doing the technique, they're listening to their body, and they're not trying to be a hero by lifting the way they cannot lift yet. You know, the key word here is yet. You will get stronger, but you will need time. And if you look at natural lifters, if you look at guys who are really successful in this field, I mean, we're talking about 20 years. I mean, we're talking about at least 10 years of work before you can actually build an impressive looking body. And guys don't want to hear this. You know, guys are like, oh, fuck this. You know, I want to make gains in 2 years. I want to make gains in a year or in 6 months. You know, it takes fucking 10 years to actually change your body in a way that you're going to look impressive to other guys, to other people, to yourself, right? It's going to take a decade, and you have to live with that. And that's not just 1 decade. I mean, if you look at the professionals, they peak in their 30s, in their 40s, and they've been lifting since high school, right? So it takes a while, and the only way you can actually stay in the game is by avoiding injuries. And if you accumulate a bunch of injuries in the first couple of years of training by being a hero, you're gonna get screwed because you're missing out on the best years of training when you actually have that decade of experience, when you can make those slow gains and you can reach your peak and your genetic potential. So you're kind of killing your long game by focusing on the short run, by focusing on things that really don't matter as much, like how much you do in one single session. Why just not focus on how much you do, how much you progress on a month-to-month basis, on a year-to-year basis, and that will bring you back to reality. And that is what you should really be focusing on as a natural lifter, is not focusing on that instant gratification that you get from like feeding into your ego by like lifting some heavy weights one time. You should actually just look at it more of a progressive way. Okay, am I becoming better? Am I becoming like 0.01% better than I was yesterday? And that is really what it comes down to, and that cumulative effect of years and years of training with avoiding injuries and following these 3 principles that I outlined in this video is definitely gonna yield you the best results. You're gonna reach your genetic potential, you're gonna look fantastic, you're gonna have your body and your health. When you get older, when you're like in that last third of your life, you're gonna have your health, no injuries, everything is gonna be perfect. You're gonna be training basically in your 60s, in your 70s, in your 80 years old, you can still be training, still enjoying bodybuilding, still enjoying lifting weights, and that is what I want for you. That is my message for this video. So be smart, follow these 3 principles, and now I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Have you ever been injured and what that injury was? So let me know in the comments below. Have you ever been injured? What's your experience with injuries so far? So leave me a comment below, let me know. I'm curious to hear your story. Aside from that, make sure to hit that subscribe button right in the face, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.